Hi YouTube friends, I'm Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead, and today I'm just sitting here at my desk and I'm doing something I love to do every year. I love choosing seeds and for the garden for the coming year. We're getting our seed starting set up going, and as you can see, the snow is starting to melt. We're going to get a few more storms before this winter is over, but it's like this time of year just feels so good because it's brighter, the days are longer, and gardening season is coming up. And it's seriously kind of like awakening, even though we're still in winter time and we're still taking good care of ourselves for the winter season. Spring is on its way. And at that point, there's going to be flowers everywhere and green grass, and my garden is going to get started. So anyway, I wanted to just talk with you really fast about some tips for choosing seeds, okay, for your gardening, whether medicinal or vegetables. So the first thing I have to say is that you really need to think about what you eat, what you like to eat. I know it's exciting to want to plant all of the things, especially when you have a beautiful physical catalog like the Baker's Creek catalog, and you are looking at all these amazing plants that you can grow, and you want to just grow them all, right? What I've learned over the years is that it's so tempting to buy all the things, and really when it comes right down to it, by the time harvest season comes and you're preserving and you're putting food up for the winter, it's really best if you buy the seeds that for the plants and the vegetables that you are actually going to eat and use. Okay, I know that sounds like yeah, right? Wouldn't you do that? But seriously, I know for myself, I'll buy things like kohlrabi or broccoli because it looks really cool and I want to grow it, but I never eat it. So I'm a person who doesn't really care for broccoli, believe it or not. So, but I love growing it, and so therefore, really think about the things that you eat a lot. In our family, personally, we eat a lot of tomatoes. So guess what I plant a lot of? Tomatoes. And so therefore, do plant the things that you're going to use. This coming year, I'm really going to focus on developing my herbal medicinal garden more fully. I counted up all of the medicinal plants on our property that we can forage and that I also cultivate and grow. There's over 97 of them at this point, but some of the patches are very small. And so this year I want to focus on adding some more medicinals to our property and growing the different patches of them that I have. So my medicinal garden seed choosing is really exciting this year. But again, I recommend that you not choose medicinal plants that you know you're not going to use. And also you have to consider how long it takes to grow them. Valerian, for example, takes 2 to 3 seasons to fully mature. So you need to be committed to that kind of a plant for a while. So that's going to also affect your decision. So that was number 1. What do you like to eat? What are you actually going to use? Number 2 is you need to consider your climate and your garden zone. So we have a really short growing season here where we're at. I have to take that into consideration every single year. When I'm starting my seeds, I start them really early because I want them on their way to maturity when I plant them out into the garden, which isn't until June. So in where we're at here. So it's very late in the season. And oftentimes we get a first freeze in September. So I know I have like 3 months for my plants to grow, mature, and provide a harvest for us. So I need to choose seeds that will fit within that growing season. I would love to grow a loofah. A loofah, however, requires a very super long growing season, and I just don't have it here. So I have to buy my loofahs from friends in the South. So take that into consideration. I wanted to show you this quick little tool. In fact, let's just number 3 is using the right tools. That's where we're going here. So I love this little garden planner. I ordered it on Amazon several years ago, and I pull it out every single year, but it's called Clyde's Garden Planner, and I'll put a link in the description below. But it is really helpful for you to determine when to start your seeds indoors, and when to start planting and things like that. It's super easy. It's right here in one little easy little deal, and I love this tool. While we're talking about tools, I just want to say, it's a good time for you while you're picking out your seeds to consider your garden tools and get some things that you need, but be sure you've got everything on hand for when you start planting. So make a list of those things. I'm going to be doing a seed starting video here real soon as we get our seed starting setup going, and I'll show you what we use to get our seeds started. And it all depends on the actual plant. Other tools, seed catalogs. These are really wonderful and helpful. Baker's Creek is one of my favorite places to order my seeds. And also, I really like True Leaf Market. That's more for sprouts and also cover crops and things like that. And I really love Botanical Interests. They're a growing seed company that has really high quality, good organic seeds. So Botanical Interest is another one, and I'll put links below as well. Another tool that I really love is, let's see here. This is kind of in a clump. This is Melissa K. Norris's book, The Family Garden Plan, and it's really well organized and laid out so that you can really give some thought to your own family and what you want to grow. So I really like this book, and it has a little journal that comes with it that's very handy so that you can, it's got a grid so you can lay out your garden and things like that. But this is a wonderful book. And then there are certain websites I also like to use. And this link here is from the Utah State University Extension Office. I find that it's a really good website. Even though we're in Idaho, I use the one from Utah. But this one, I love this tool because it gives you the yields that you're going to need for home canning and preserving. So I generally use this as a loose guideline for how much I'm planting as well. So that's another tip. Okay, tip number 4 is to plan to plant too much. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but here's what I've learned over all of the decades that I've spent gardening for food. And that is that you never know what's going to happen with the weather. You never know what's going to happen with your life. And it's really better to have too many plants and to produce too much than to produce too little. Okay. And especially like when we moved here to Idaho, gardening here was very, very different for us than growing down in southern Nevada. Climate's totally different. The soil was totally different. Everything was totally different. And, it was really hard. So I'm very, very glad that I took that little tip to heart when we moved here, and we planted way too many plants for what we needed. But because we had such a difficult time getting our gardens going when we first moved here, we still got enough food. So just a little tip to think about there. Finally, another final tip for choosing seeds is to choose heirloom seeds. There are different kinds of seeds, and I've got an article on my website that describes all of them. There's GMOs, non-GMOs, there's hybrids, and there are heirlooms. So you want to go ahead and choose heirloom seeds because you can save the seeds and therefore not have to spend a ton of money next year on your seeds. So I like to buy the heirlooms. They're my favorite. Plus you get some really unique varieties too. And again, Botanical Interests is a good place to get them, and so is Baker Creek. Baker Creek actually tests all of their seeds to be sure that they haven't been contaminated with GMOs. So it's a great company. And I'm not sure about Botanical Interests, but they're very careful as well. All right, so that's it. Tips for choosing your seeds and getting excited about your garden season coming up. I hope you enjoyed this. please subscribe. And if you have any questions about any seeds or herbs or essential oils, go ahead and ask in the comments. I do read the comments and I try to reply, especially, for the first week or two if I can. But I'll get back to you. All right. I'm Heidi Villegas with Healing Harvest Homestead, and it was so great talking with you today.